Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits as it should. Why? Because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. I don't know about you guys, but hey, if you feel me, put some purple heart and emojis in the chat. Feels good to be alive, doesn't it? It does. Okay, and if you disagree, I'll just say it does. Dagnabbit, it does. Okay, but we got a lot to talk about, guys. We have a lot to chat about. I've already talked about a couple of these things on my secondary channel, but I did want to discuss these with you guys as a fam. Of course, we may go through some excerpts from the book. Like I said, we got something coming up very soon, later on this week. Hopefully, you guys will have a full summary of this book and my own 2 cents fully of this book. But we're going to be pulling a few things out of that book tonight, okay? But there are a lot of other things that have been percolating. A lot of stuff has been going crazy out here in these streets, and we got to talk about a few of these things, all right? So do me a favor before we get into everything, okay? Before we get into everything, do me a solid, okay? Hit that like button down below, crush it, hit it, do what you need to do. If you're watching on the TikTok, please hit that reaction button, all that stuff. We got a lot to talk about, okay? So hit that reaction button, hit that like button, all that stuff. That would be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit that follow button here on the TikTok. Don't forget to hit that follow button on all the other platforms that I'm going live on. Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, all of them, okay? I have all those platforms, so show some love, follow if you can. Don't forget to subscribe here on the main channel, please and thank you. Go to my secondary channel too, the Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there, all right? Subscribe, baby. And of course, go check out that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show, if you feel like you want to support any further, okay? And of course, I got some really great merch, really great clothing, t-shirts, you name it. It's all on pascalmerch.com. Again, pascalmerch.com. Go check it out. There's some really great stuff over there. Okay, guys? All right. We got to get into this conversation. We got things to talk about. Okay? Quite a bit to talk about this evening. Now, all throughout the day, the news be newsing out here. Okay? Especially with everything revolving around Diddy. There's been a lot going on, y'all. Okay, there's been a lot new information. There's been a lot of conversations. People are basically saying out here in these streets that Diddy is terrified for his life, worried for his life, right? And then, of course, there was also, I'll be sure, Kim Porter's first baby daddy, I guess, ex-husband, father to Quincy, okay? He had a lot to say this morning. He dropped like 3 posts, and we talked about them quite a bit. But there was a third post that actually came up that I didn't see, that I didn't get a chance to get my hands on, that, of course, I want to share with you guys as well. But he is saying right now that this book, this very book, is fake. Yes. He is saying that this is fake. Now, I know a lot of people feel some type of way about that. Some people are like, no, don't do me like that. Don't you lie. Don't you dare lie. Okay? This is not fake news. This is not fake. This is her truth. These are from her own words. She wrote this. Well, I'm still kind of curious about that too. I got some questions, guys, because I am kind of curious if she is absolutely 110%, if she really 110% wrote this. And I think, and that's literally what I'm going to be saying in the video when I do this whole breakdown of this video, of this whole book, because this book is crazy. This book is crazy. There's so much in here. I'm like, man, can this really be real? Or is somebody just writing fan fiction? We talked about that last night. Could this just be glorified fan fiction? Don't know. Because it feels like something like that. Okay. You know, there's fan fiction about, like, wasn't there fan fiction about Twilight? The characters in Twilight, other people took the characters and wrote fan fiction. They made their own novels about the characters from Twilight. Why do I even know that trash? But at the same time, I don't know why I know. Okay, let's move on from that. Don't ask questions. Just listen to me. Okay, let me cook. All right, but still, fan fiction could possibly be using these names and wrapping their names around rumors that have always been out here in these streets. There's a possibility of that. Now, Nicole B just said, we would think 1,000 bottles of baby oil is fake too. Yeah, you ain't wrong with that. Okay, that's a far-fetched. And imagine that being in the book. Why somebody go, they can't be real, when it was actually real, because, you know, we heard it from the feds, right? So again, that's the problem. That's the rub here with this situation, because you could look at this and go, this is so far-fetched. Could this be so far-fetched? Could this be just an exaggeration? Or could this actually be not an exaggeration and this is just real life? But you telling me everybody bumping uglies every 5 seconds? It feels like a really bad, like, adult film. You know what I mean? Ding dong. Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm here to clean your pipes. Bow, waka, wow. It just felt like that a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, and let me explain, because we talked about it a little bit last night. Okay. And we the thing is there were some things about that involved I'll Be Sure. And let me just pull up a photo of them, of I'll Be Sure and of course Kim Porter together. Okay. Now, here's the thing. They were together. They were married. They broke up. But while they were married, they had a baby. His name is Quincy. All right. Now, Quincy apparently was taken under Diddy's wing, allegedly. Okay. And, basically says was raised by Diddy. Clearly, there was a lot of tension between Al and Diddy. But in this book, there are things that just don't make it's very interesting. Like I said, it's very like, I'm here to clean your pipes. Wow, wow, wow. Like, it's just very, oh yeah. It's a little bit like that, guys. And I read this last night, but I'm going to circle back to it. And I think this is one of the reasons why Al Be Sure felt some type of way too. Just to be completely real. Okay. I think he felt some type of way as well because of what was said on page 12. Yes. Everything else was cool in the book, except page 12. You feel me? Page 12 got weird. Page 12 turned into something else. And like I said, I felt like it was some really jacked up Tyler Perry movie. This whole book, it's like a really jacked up Tyler Perry movie. With all due respect, no diss, no shade thrown to Tyler Perry, to TP. But at the same time, some of his movies be wilding out here. Okay. Did you see Divorce in the Black? The first 15 minutes of the movie, hamburger. They in a funeral and they did what? You just need to see the first 15 minutes of the movie and you already know what kind of movie you're walking into. You feel me? And then this book, it's kind of like that. It just felt like a Tyler Perry movie. It's like Tyler Perry wrote the script to the TV show Empire. Just one episode. But he's like, it's going to be a whole lot of spiciness and it's going to be zestfully clean. A lot of zesty moments. Right? Has anybody seen Mea Culpa? Just saying. For someone who, and I've seen some Tyler Perry movies, okay? I stop and I will watch those movies. And even when I'm like, damn, I still have burned those images into my brains. Do you understand? I still support the guy. But some of his movies, woo! You're like, how did you write this? Did you take time to reread this just to make sure you knew exactly what you were doing? But okay. Okay. But moving on. Page 12, guys. I've already read this before, so I'm gonna abbreviate. Abbreviate. We talked about this last night, but it's just a quick trip down memory lane. Okay. So they were sitting all together. It was Kim, it was Al, and it was Sean, Diddy. Now, I want to make this abundantly clear. We don't know if this book is real or not. So you have to take everything that this book is saying, every single syllable that's in this doggone book, you have to take it with a grain of salt, with a punch of salt, if you will, because we don't know if it's absolutely true or not. But this particular moment, they claim that Al B. Shore and Sean, Puff Daddy, Combs, Diddy, brother love, brotherly love, Diddy, P. Diddy, whoever, however you call him, okay? They were about to bump uglies. And Kim was just going to sit there. Kim Porter was just going to sit there in audience. It makes no sense. Like I said, this is only page 12. We already in this. And I'm telling you, within the first few pages, man, pages in, page 5, let me just I'll get to it. I promise. Okay. So they're sitting down, they're having some drinks. I guess Al B. Shore's feeling a little bit of these drinks in him or something like that, according to this book. I'm not saying this. This is in the book, okay? So don't at me. This is in the book, okay? Go get the book if you want to see it for yourself in black and white. But they basically said, Sean said, actually Al was like, it's still weird seeing you with my friend, referring to Kim Porter, but you're happy, so I'm happy for you guys. Or, I mean, he was referring to Sean to Kim, okay? Sean responded, thanks, man. Me and you, we've shared a lot. Al responded coolly, word. The conversation then took an awkward turn when Sean said, we all been together actually, but not together. I was shocked at the moment as quietness lingered in the room. I asked, what do you mean by all together? Al shifted uncomfortably, but Sean didn't hesitate. You know how we sometimes invite other people in our bed? Then she says, I couldn't believe it. Oh, hell no, Sean. This is my son's father. Al, say something. What Al said was mind-boggling. He said, I don't know. It could be kind of hot. I miss you in that way. Although I couldn't believe Sean would do this, the truth was I still cared about Al, and this could be very hot. Now I'm going to stop right there because I've already read the rest of it last night. But at the same time, in this doggone thing, she's like, oh my gosh, and Al blankety blank blank blank, and then Sean blankety blank blank blank, and then I left the room because they were blankety blank blank. I'm like, oh my dear God. And that was a moment where I literally threw the book down and I said, is this for real? And I'm 12 pages into this 59-page book, and I'm wondering, how legit is this book? Now, this, I feel, is one of the main reasons why Al, I feel, has come out and spoken out and is putting out all these posts, because he's sitting here going like, you have got to miss me with the nonsense. You're telling me that people really believe in this? So let's see what he said, shall we? Because we talked about this on my second channel. Okay, this morning we talked about it as soon as it dropped, but I still wanted to cover the bases with you guys. All right, and like I said, yeah, Natasha B, this is like an erotic novel, except it's not erotic. It's absolutely filled with absolute torture and mayhem. I don't recommend you reading this if you're trying to feel ooey and gooey and randy. Okay, it's not that kind of book. Okay, it's not, but it's almost like that. It's weird. Like I said, Tyler Perry book. Okay, so because there's even a moment which I'll probably read for you guys. Did I read it for you guys last night? I don't know, but I'll probably read it for you again anyway, just to remind you of the kind of situations that we're reading in this book. Now, I also want to say, mind you, this could very well be the truth. She could have really written this book, but I don't know. Okay. I'm still side eyeing it like a mug. It just seems too odd to be true. But I leave that question up to you guys. Do you believe it? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's not? Do you believe the hype? Is it hype? And do you believe it? Right? Or do you not believe the hype? I leave that up to you guys. Albie Shore said this. He put out 3 different posts, by the way. This is the first one. He said, #PeepGang. For over a decade and a half, I've been posting about and tagging random law enforcement agencies in hopes to protect loved ones, avoid demises and tragedies that could have all been avoided. Despite this, I have been ignored, ridiculed, and medically silenced to cover up these crimes you are all now aware of by a very aggressive PR team and costly campaign to silence and physically harm me from exposing. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but he was out here trying to speak out against what happened to Kim Porter because she was 49 years old, and suddenly she just gets mysteriously hit with pneumonia. Okay. And then, of course, she loses her life. Now, of course, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of questions about how she passed away, whether or not the pneumonia was actually real or not, or maybe that she was actually given something that got her sick, so on and so forth, right? That maybe Diddy did something to her because she knew too much information, aka she knew about these tapes that he was recording these activities, these freak offs in his home, right? Dealing with men, women of all ages as well. Okay. And allegedly, she was recording those, taping, like making copies of these tapes, because that was her way out of the relationship, this volatile relationship that she had with Diddy. That's what is basically assumed. That is what is speculated out here in these streets. Albie Shore was one of the main people that was out here trying to speak out and trying to get justice for Kim Porter because he believes what happened to her was unjust, and he does feel like foul play was involved, and he feels that Diddy has something to do with this, right? Then all of a sudden he gets sick out of nowhere. All of his organs shut down. He's in a coma for months. He's intubated. He's put on a ventilator for over a month or so, clinging to life, and he survives, right? He comes out, and he's still sitting here going, nope, I'm still talking about it. This is not going to stop me from speaking the truth and trying to get justice for Kim Porter. So that's one of the reasons why he's been out here. This is the reason why he's been saying stuff for the longest time. In fact, I saw some people putting in comments on his page, basically being like, where were you all this time, bruh? Where you been? He's been right there talking about this. Nothing's changed. He's been talking about this way before Gene Deal started talking about it. Real talk. He's been talking about it for a minute and trying to get justice, trying to get clarification and honesty. And of course, 110% justice for Kim Porter because he believes this was foul play. So just a little background story so you guys understand a little bit more. So it only aimed to prevent me from further sharing publicly the facts and insight Kim Porter shared with me during our frequent and intimate conversations in her selfless attempts to save my life by sharing frequent plans to do harm and possibly by ending my life. So she was having conversations with him while he was sitting there trying to expose Diddy well before she even got sick. Diddy looked at him as a threat and was wanting to take him out as well. Kim Porter was giving him heads up like, yeah, he doesn't want you around no more. That's crazy, guys. That's absolutely crazy. But moving on, he says, I'm writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Kim Porter, including the publicist who assisted drafting this. It has come to my attention that these persons were also instructed to steal her computer and mobile devices, which contained her original book notes. That's important to hear. Original book notes. Original notes are distinct from the fabricated BS and offensive pages circulated via Amazon, which depict graphic acts involving me that never took place and were edited and added after Miss Porter's tragic demise. He's talking about this book, ladies and germs. He's talking about this book, ladies and germs. He's saying that this is messed up and wrong and fake. Let's continue on. He might be trying to save face. Maybe the Bump and Uglies thing was a real story. I don't know. But he's saying that whatever she wrote is nowhere near what was in that, what was in what she wrote. What's in this book is nowhere near what she wrote originally. And that somebody could have taken it, changed things up, smacked it up, flipped it, and rubbed it down. Okay? Just to add a little bit more spiciness to it. Okay? Moving on, though, I urge you to consider who authorized such a fictitious publication without categorizing it as calculated fiction. The publicist and conspirators worked in concert from separate camps, launching this campaign, which appears to be a very personal and a deliberate distraction from their involvement in covering horrific crimes, assisted in and perplexed the public for many years, which I have personally experienced and cautiously deemed just a quote-unquote medical crisis for legal reasons until the rest of these atrocities were uncovered by authorities, making it more believable to a gullible public that has been fooled for so long. Miss Porter's devices, allegedly already in evidence, unquestionably contain the critical evidence that had been concealed. So he's saying the paperwork, the story, right, that she wrote is concealed. So 5-0 must have the original copy. So then again, the question is, who wrote this then? Don't get me wrong, we're still going to deep dive into it. We're still going to dive in. We're still going to read this thing, but still, he's claiming that the devices in which her diary are on are not in the clutches of the general public. They're concealed. 5-0 got it. Not us. So if that's true, who wrote this? Moving on. And let me just also say this too. There's plenty of other people out here that are writing other books too, that all revolve around Kim Porter as well. If you just type in Kim Porter on Amazon, you're going to see a whole bunch of other books starting to pop up. Everybody wants a piece of this pie, of this Diddy pie. That sounds so gross. Sorry. But everybody wants a piece of that money. The unauthorized story of, you know what I'm saying? They're all out there and it exists. Okay? It really exists. But moving on though, I'm convinced the evidence corroborates closely with details outlined in the recently released public indictment document. Additionally, it is pertinent to note that the individuals involved in this matter may also be connected to also concealing the alleged M's of several prominent artists, a situation that has left many bewildered. Yet those who are immersed in the culture and familiar with the intricacies of the entertainment industry may have a clearer understanding of the obvious. It is with a heavy heart that I reflect on our legacy, on the legacy of our beloved Lady KP or Kim Porter. It is truly disheartening to think that those she considered close friends and who were financially compensated by her perpetrator or perpetrators may have conspired with the perpetrator, Diddy, to obscure the truth and tarnish her name, my name, and her unfinished book notes with these ridiculous and unfounded narratives. The absence of Miss Porter leaves a void, depriving her of the opportunity to address these inaccuracies personally and to share her own factual memoirs detailing the brutal terror and madness she endured. Now, he is not wrong. The fact that she is no longer here, she cannot sit here and speak up and go, I didn't write that. Or she go, that is 110% true. I did write that. And that's the sad part of it all, right? Anybody can pen something and sit there and put a fake nom de plume underneath, a fake pen name, okay, and suddenly say, that be Kim's diary. That's what it is. There you go. It's on Amazon now. Go buy it. She ain't here to confirm nor deny anything. Also, what about the sources? What about her close friends? What about people who actually knew about the book, about her writing this diary and about to make a book? Can they step forward and maybe say, hey, this book ain't real? This book is fake news. Like I said, I'd love to hear somebody step forward that's close to her and say, yeah, this book is real. Or nope, this is fake. Somebody just trying to make some monies. Please, Kamora Lee Simmons, please stand up. Any other person that's close to her. Is this real or not? Don't worry, we're going to go back to it soon. Check all the text messages of those who serve in a PR capacity, as they have brilliantly and underhandedly crafted this fictitious story to service a personal vendetta. There's more. There's so much to unpack. Unfortunately, I'm the only survivor by the blessings of a medical team that initially gave up because of multiple system organ failure, septic, intubated, on a ventilator for 38 days, and forced to visit death's doorstep. But the God I serve and worship had another plan. Keep in mind that this is just the quote-unquote G-rated version of what I endured over a decade plus to silence the OG. Wow. Diddy. I also kept forensic records of every individual who was sent my way to set me up, track me, gaslight me, and allegedly cause harm to my system. Now, that's just some of the posts that he put up. Now, we got another one that we're going to look at here in a second, but at the same time, I'll be sure sitting here going like, this is all fake. This is not real. This book isn't real. Now, again, let me just say this. We have to err on caution. He could be like, yo, that little snippet there, whoa. Okay. Question is this. If it's real, maybe he didn't want that information out there. But the fact that he's sitting here saying like, yo, all of this is fabricated. I mean, you got to look at it and you got to start asking the questions. Let's be real. Again, we got to look at both sides, right? One side, he's sitting here saying that this is not real because there's a moment in the book on page 12 where he is, bumping uglies with another man. Okay. And I'm sure he's not the kind of guy, if this is true, would want that kind of information out there for everyone to hear, right? That's his business and his business alone. As long as it's consensual, right? That's his business. As long as there's no crime committed, that's his business. Okay. Right? Right? But then on the other side, if somebody's out here saying something that's not true, and putting it in a book and it's forever burned in black and white, that is bad. And of course you feel the need to step forward and talk. Speak your version of the truth. And what he's saying here is, yo, this is fake news. It is not real. It's all fake news. Do you blame him for it? That's a question I leave up to you guys. But there's more. He posted another one. He posted something else here too, which I'm going to blow this up so you guys can see it a little bit better, okay? But he says, unfortunately, Kimberlina was taken from us way too soon, and before she could complete her true thoughts before this fake, unauthorized edit released on Amazon, which the disappearance of her computer and vital evidence raises significantly more questions. It is evident that her potential to expose these realities of her personal A's and being, given substances, the STing and HTing she was privy to, akin to the brave actions of Cassie, posed a threat to those profiting from such heinous activities. In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on a course to accomplish what Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire, which brings us here today with the avalanche that has brought Satan to their chambers. Not Satin, I think it's Satan, okay? Let us honor the memory of Kim Porter, acknowledging the strength, struggles she faced, and the truth she sought to reveal in her own personal notes, not this fake, unauthorized nonsense using my name to keep dragging me on social punishment for exposing this years ago. There will be a significant suit headed right for the heads of the responsible parties who dragged my name into this BS. Oh my God. So he's going to sue them? He going to sue whoever wrote this book? Whoa. Ruh-roh. That's not good. Kim and I had talked right up to the few days prior to her demise. She was in good health, and we were in such a great friends space, reminiscing about old times and celebrating news of our son's accomplishments. No affair, just great friends. #Warriors for Kim Porter. We must continue to advocate for justice and ensure that everyone of these individuals who conspired against her are held accountable and prosecuted to the highest extent of the law. Woo! He ain't happy, man. Okay? Man in fuego. Let's go. Thank you to all the law enforcement agencies for their unwavering dedication to uncovering a portion of the truth. There's more. Rest in power, Kim Porter. Your legacy will not be forgotten. Most importantly, please pray for the kids. There is no validation in my claims coming true. There has been way too much collateral damage and death everywhere. So again, now he's sitting here saying like he gonna sue. Woo! We gonna see. We gonna see how it goes though, baby. Which is crazy though, right? He gonna sue. Do you blame him though? Do you blame him? Personally, I don't. I really don't blame him. In fact, I'm not surprised about that. Because he's sitting there going like, once again, another group of people allegedly writing fake information, writing information that is not entirely true. Yeah, I'd be really angry about that too. Okay? I'd be angry about that too. Like as soon as, like I said, you get to page 12 and you're like, what? And and I'm telling you right now, this goes hard in the paint right at page 5. So let's get into some more story time, shall we? Okay? Let's get into more story times. Okay? Hold on. Let me pull up a photo of Kim Porter real quick, all right? Because we're going to read a little bit of the first second chapter. I think that's what we're going to do. Okay? Before we continue on. All right? So this is when it's called Humble Beginnings. Okay? What's wild is the first, I mean, again, if this book is real, the last sentence of chapter 1 is Sean Combs must be stopped. Like I said, I mean, it's like Sean Combs must be stopped is one of the last words in the first chapter. And then one of the last words in the last chapter is one of the last, like not the last, but it's very interesting how she said that she allegedly texted somebody. She put out a group text letting everyone know, allegedly saying, he got me. Now, the thing is before we go into this chapter here, I am quite curious if that's true. I am actually kind of curious about that. Did everybody did everybody in her group text really get a text message saying he got me? I'd love to see that proof as well. A lot of this is like, you got to make sure. I'm hoping somebody's doing the deep dive into the entire book and is actually doing fact checking everything. Is this accurate? This is inaccurate, so on and so forth, right? I'm very interested. But let me read a little bit of the second chapter here, okay? So she talks about meeting Al, and then of course having a baby with Al. Of course, the baby's name is Quincy. Okay, so she goes into, and this is the last few paragraphs of a very, very short chapter. So she says, when I met Sean, he was cool. I didn't think much of him at the time. He was just another guy at the label. Uptown was huge, and we were living our best life. But Sean continued to lay on the charm. And before I knew it, we were dating. As a young single mom at one of the hottest companies in the world, life couldn't get any better. Then it did. My boyfriend was getting even bigger. He and Clive would hang out a lot, but I didn't think anything of it at the time, I guess, right? I mean, that was his boss, and he was doing things bigger than most men dare to even dream. Then it happened. I mean, okay, I was a little bit of a freak. I really enjoyed myself with my partner, and toys are one thing, but I never imagined having a man I was dating asking me to use a toy on him. You already know where this is going. The first time, he said he just wanted to experiment, try something new. I was grossed out, but he kept begging. He said it would only be this one time, and he was just curious. I was only 20 at the time. I said, what the hell? I hated it. He bled from it, and there was ish on it too. I left him alone after that. That's chapter 2. That's chapter 2 of this book. Hamburger. Okay? The man, okay. Yeah, ew, indeed. Goo goo. Okay? Very interesting, right? So, that's chapter 2. So you're telling me right out the gate, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like I said, could be real, could be fake. I got a lot of questions. Okay? A gang of questions. But nonetheless, I think, we're going to have to sit and wait and hear what people say out here. And I want to hear people, speak confirmations on some of these things, because there's too many questions that are left open, that have been left unanswered with this book. You think that it answers questions. No, it doesn't. Now you're going, is it true though? Is this actually accurate? Did she really write this? But right out the gate, like I said, right out the gate, shoot, page 4 and 5. Instantly, they're going in. Now, here's the other part that I found to be a little sketchy as well. It's the very first page. It's the very first page of this doggone book. Okay? I know you guys can't see it, but it says here disclaimer. Okay? Disclaimers, which doesn't make any sense. Let me explain why. Let me just read it. Okay? One of Kim Porter's final wishes was for this memoir/diary to be made public. Okay. Out of protection for certain parties and their potential criminal activity, some celebrities, performers, and events have been represented as with X's due to their highly explosive nature. At some point in the future, this information will be revealed to the public. Regarding her sudden demise, I'm using code words, of course, and the mysterious illness of Albie Shore and Jamie Foxx, he put whoever wrote this put in Jamie Foxx here too. Remember all the rumors that were flying around about Jamie Foxx when he got really, really sick? Remember all the theories? Okay. Evidence does exist. Continuing on, okay? That points to foul play and or poisoning. Jamie Foxx's name is in here. But that's not the only reason why I took that. This gave me great pause. You realize that there are so many names in this book. I mean, there's names throughout this whole doggone book, okay? That Jay-Z, Biggie, Tupac, Jamie Foxx, Bieber, Lil Bow Wow. Who else? I'm forgetting names right now. There's so many names. Shine, J-Lo, Mary J. Blige, Faith Evans. All of these names, all of them in this book. But then there's random names that are just completely omitted. Just randomly. Oh, yeah, XXX came out of Diddy's room after, they were bashing. Yeah, he liked to go to these parties too. It's like, wait a second. What? Yeah, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith. I mean, there's all those names are in this, but they omitted like maybe one name for the most part. They got Jimmy Henchman in this mug. All these names, like I said, all of these names, but they omit one name. And apparently this name was doing the hibbity dibbity, okay, with Diddy. So then who's the name? You have all these other names, mother lover, but you only omit one name. Who could that be? Who cares at this point? You allegedly exposed every other mother lover on this mother loving planet. You threw everybody else under the bus, but except one person. I'm sorry, but that's the big pushback I have. You see what I'm saying? It's weird. Like I said, XX, like this person, XXXX is seen cuddling with Will Smith in a bed. Okay, who that person? And if I'm correct, that same person, XXXX, comes out of the bedroom after, bashing with Diddy, talking about, oh yeah, Diddy's talking about like not protecting Biggie as he takes his trip out to that fateful trip out to California. Then again, you got to remember all of these rumors that were circulating around that we all heard about, these theories. Oh, maybe Biggie and Tupac were getting together and then, they wanted to start their own label. Maybe that's why Diddy was so mad and that's why he put out a hit on both of them. That's in the book. Rumors about Tupac smashing Faith Evans. That's in the book. Rumors about Faith Evans being set up with Biggie. Not that she just organically met him and organically fell in love with him. No, in the book, they make it seem like Diddy is the orchestrator. He is the puppet master. He's pulling all the strings. And he's like, nah, Faith, I need you to go and hook up with, and you need to be in love with him. That's going to be great for you. Y'all will be the power couple of hip hop. Did that really happen that way? And it's not Kamala Harris. Stop already. Oh my God. Stop with the Kamala Harris stuff. No, it's not Kamala Harris. Trust me, it's not. Okay? Because honestly, this is a dude. Okay? It's a dude. They made it very abundantly clear that these were men's doing some zestfully clean activities. You feels me? So no, not Kamala Harris. Not Taylor Swift. None of them. Okay? But it is very interesting nonetheless. Very interesting. Okay? And this was a independently published book, by the way, as well. Hold on. I got a couple things. I want to pull this up here really quick. Okay? Give me a second. Because we got some things to talk about. I know that Nancy Grace has had a few things to say too, which I really look forward to seeing with you guys as well. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Nancy Grace. Always fun watching her. Let's take a look at this right here. Let's go. Shall we?
In addition to snacks and hygiene items, Diddy has the option to purchase full meals from the MDC commissary. His options include stuffed chicken with rice, eggplant parmesan, bone-in chicken, a rib steak, or beef chullent. The estimated billionaire will have to watch his $160 spending limit per trip.
What?
Now, first off, they're talking about the food that he gets access to. Okay? So that's some serious food. I'm going to be real. When you got like ribeye, bone-in ribeye? For a place that you got to be worried about how dangerous it is, their food be fire though. Damn. Okay? He eating good in the neighborhood. Okay? Hold up. Let's hear what she got to say though.
Did I just hear a ribeye? Let me check.
No doubt.
A ribeye,
Ribeye.
beef stew, egg parm,
Look at this.
chicken with rice. What? What?
Hold on. We got to look at this. Look, roast beef. Okay, breakfast, you get hot grits, some hot oatmeal. Okay? You got some pancakes with syrup, French toast with syrup, potatoes. You get for lunch, potatoes and gravy, Southwest chicken wraps, chicken sandwiches, hamburgers, baked chicken, mac and cheese, tacos, sloppy Joe. You got all this good stuff. Dinner, you got roast beef, turkey roast, Salisbury steaks, chicken fajitas, barbecue pork, and Swedish meatballs. You know he likes them meatballs, okay? But anyway, fried rice, pepper steak, and baked ziti. You're telling me, damn, he eating good. That's some 5-star, like Michelin star type-ish. You feel me? I mean, I'm sure it's all rubbery and nasty and probably roaches are walking, crawling all over it and everything, but damn, okay? They eating pretty damn good, okay? And if he's talking about like, oh my God, my life behind bars is so terrible, but that's what you get, son. That's what you get, okay? Yes, the meatballs, the Swedish meatballs. You know what I'm saying? But moving on. Let's hear Nancy speak on it.
Grits, oatmeal, pancakes, syrup, French toast. I'd like some French toast. What's for lunch? Chicken wrap, hamburger.
I want some French toast too now. Now I'm hungry. Dag nabbit. I just realized I'm hungry. Swedish meatballs, though. Okay, but let's go. Let's go. She said, let's go get some French toast. Why did that make me think of 40-year-old virgin? You know what I'm saying?
Burgers, baked chicken, tacos. I would love a taco. Dinner, roast beef. I'd like that. Salisbury steak. Fajitas? What? Okay. Sydney Sumner joining me, crimeonline.com investigative reporter, joining us along with Angelica Martinez outside of MDC, Metropolitan Detention Center. Sydney Sumner, a steak? He can have a steak whenever he wants it? What, do you just order it?
Yes, there are several different meals that Diddy could be ordering instead of what's on the regular daily menu. And those meals cost anywhere from $5 to nearly $10 for that rib steak. But yes, he has access to all of that, all kinds of snacks. He does have to watch that $160 spending limit. And it's unclear how many times a week he can visit this commissary. Maybe once a week,
it
twice
says
a week.
$160 per trip. So, okay, I'm just trying to understand why he is getting special treatment behind bars, because his lawyer has been very clear that he is not suicidal at all.
Now, remember, he was on S-Watch for a second there, right? Now, apparently, he's not on S-Watch. I guess maybe he's not on S-Watch. It's been released. But at the same time, he's going to be able to, like, he's eating and he's eating good, right? And so, again, I'm wondering as well, why does he get that treatment? He's a criminal. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that they got to eat gruel every day, okay? I'm not sitting here saying that they need to eat like trash, but at the same time, ribeye? Bone-in ribeye? For real? How are you going to eat that with a spork? Like, how do you do that with a spork? You can't have sharp objects. So how are you able to eat a steak with a spork? What are you eating it like you're like a caveman? What are you doing? Right? But still, damn. I mean, it's probably the worst steak in the world. But at the same time, how are you eating that? You're grabbing it with your bare hands and eating like it's like a chicken leg? That's crazy. Caveman style, huh, Veronica, on TikTok? That's straight up just what you do. You're like, you know what I mean? Crazy. Ribeye, guys, ribeye.
But yet he's on suicide watch. What does that mean? That means he's very likely in the medical unit and getting special privileges. Can we just get real for just one moment? Chris McDonough joining me, director, Cold Case Foundation, former homicide detective, and former vice detective. He's a star of YouTube channel, The Interview Room. Chris, please, just can we speak very clearly and candidly?
Come on, break it down,
rich,
Chris.
famous people go to jail and they're awaiting trial, they can't get into a mini-max, which is a mini, supervised jail, where they have golf and they walk free and they wear regular clothes, that kind of thing. They can't go there until after their trial. Okay. Before their trial, when they're in a holding facility such as MDC, they get special privileges. Why? Not sure. But they get a private room very often. They get special treatment, special meals. They don't integrate with GP, general population. They don't eat their meals with general population. It's a very rarefied position to be in. I mean, granted that you are in MDC. How great can it be? But it's still kid glove treatment. He is not suicidal, Chris. His own lawyer has stated that. So why is he getting kid glove treatment, Chris McDonough?
Real quick, before we hear Chris McDonough say what he got to say, I do have a theory about this, and so I'm gonna let me just say this really quick. My theory is he's saying that he's gone crazy, or that he's gone, doing something, saying that he's going to do something unthinkable to himself, because they're going to treat him with kid gloves if he's in a different sector of this building, right? Of this of this jail. That could possibly be it, right? Oh, I'm going to act like, I'm going to do something crazy. And they're like, no, 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 no. Come over here and you get to eat all the Jell-O you want. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what they're doing. He's playing the sensitive, route, going, oh, I don't know if I can do it in here, man. I don't know if I can hold it in anymore, man. And they're like, come on over here, have some Jell-O. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. And they get all the good stuff over there. But I'm sure it's not a situation where he's just like, if he's, I'm sure it's a different type of treatment. And that's why we're getting the kid glove treatment. And then all the Jell-O he can consume. I mean, he might as well get used to it because he's going to be in there for a long time. Okay? I don't think that they're going to speed this trial up any sooner, because I don't think that the defense needs more time to get their client and themselves ready for a trial. So I don't know. I don't think that they're going to be like, this trial is going to start in 6 months. I doubt it. I think it's going to be another year before we see him out in a trial. But that's just me.
Donna?
That is an absolutely great question, Nancy, because in these units, there's special housing units, right? The SHU unit. The whole purpose of that is to house somebody in there because of, one, a threat assessment comes up that this guy is a high threat and or a high target threat, meaning somebody else wants to take this person out. The fact that this guy has an open buffet with a $160 tab on a daily visit is absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
And why that would be occurring has to be because of his status, not necessarily because of anything other than that.
But that doesn't make any sense. If his status is really status shouldn't have anything to do with this, right? He should be treated as such, like a doggone criminal, right? He shouldn't be able to get all this stuff at his leisure. Ribeye, Swedish meatballs. He shouldn't be getting those things. Miss me with the nonsense. He should be treated just like every other criminal because he's a criminal. Or at least alleged criminal right now. Okay? Innocent until proven guilty. I get it. Blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, dagnabbit. Dagnabbit. Moving on, though. Just ridiculous. Just getting all the good stuff. I think that's trash in my personal opinion. Okay? Now, one thing I do want to pull up real quick before we go on to other things here, okay, is this. Just a little bit of information, because I know some of y'all don't know about this, but I'm going to share it with you guys anyway. All right? It goes a little something like this. They're even saying he's as bad as the Epi. And I can't use his name that much, okay? But you know who I'm talking about. J.E., the man who had his own island and whatnot, right? Okay. An officer is saying that they saw that he had multiple rooms. And a lot of these rooms had hidden cameras in them. During their raid, that's what they found in this mansion in Miami, in Diddy's mansion. Hidden cameras in many rooms, not just one, many rooms that he would use for this, for these activities. Okay. So it says here, sordid details have emerged of the so-called rooms. Got to use these code words that Diddy allegedly kept in his mansion, filled with toys, toys, gear of that type. Okay. Gear. Hidden cameras and lingerie, according to a federal source who said the disgraced rapper is as bad as Epi. Crazy. One of the Department of Homeland Security agencies who helped raid his home claimed that the music mogul had rooms that were clearly dedicated to the hibbity dibbity. You walked in and you knew for a fact this is a room for the love. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Anyway, with cameras all around. So if you were in those parties, you were being recorded from every possible angle, including angles you wouldn't have known about. This is what the source said, referring to the sometimes days-long that he would call freak-offs, where, of course, individuals were plied with substances and were allegedly forced to have these activities, these unbelievable, these carnal activities with male pros. And you know who? That's Epi, just so you guys know. All right, moving on. Says here, in my opinion, he's just as bad as Epi. This is what this source said about the late monster Epi, who he did what he did, or maybe he didn't do what he did. I know that's a big debate, all right, where he lost his life behind bars. Regardless, he lost his life. He ain't here no more. Epi gone, baby. Him gone, all right? These women were young, either barely legal or barely illegal. Internally, officers said they see a lot of similarities between Combs and Epi, the well-connected financier who served time for moving dozens of young littles of the female kind in New York and Florida. Epi, who was awaiting trial on additional charges, died in his cell, which we already know about, in 2019. On Tuesday, obviously, Combs was slapped with some serious charges, which we already know about. But like I said, they said that the many rooms that he had were dedicated basically for that activity, that very activity. And all these rooms had hidden cameras in places you never even knew even existed. So you think that maybe he's just holding the camera. Oh, no. He's got other angles. So there's probably one right up your wazoo. Okay? Which is absolutely crazy. But again, I keep asking, what content? Why was he making this content? Was he really just making this content for himself? Really? He wasn't making this content for nobody else? And I keep asking that until I get an answer. Because I think there's something else going on here. There's no way he made all that content just for his viewing pleasure, which is still a possibility. But it just seems so odd. All those angles. Is he selling this stuff on the dark web? Is he selling it to a ring of people that are higher above, much more successful than him, more powerful than him? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Sure, he could have been a voyeur. He could have been that. Sure. He could have been a voyeur. Sure. But at the same time, if he was that, why so many angles, though? And then in my mind, yeah, Hello Kitty just said, for blackmail purposes. Is it really just for blackmail purposes, though? Just that? There's got to be something more to that. And you got to make sure that if you are using it for blackmail purposes, you got to make sure that whoever is going to be in that room is worth blackmailing too. Let's be real. You got to have like the president in there or something. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be something like absolutely insane. People with some serious deep pockets. You need like Elon Musk in that mother lover. You see what I'm saying? You need some powerful individuals that are making moves. Bill Gates up in this. Wait, hold on. That could possibly be possible. But you know what I'm saying? Like a Bill Gates type. You see what I'm saying? Elon Musk could be a possibility too. It could be a possibility. I don't know. I don't have any confirmation of that, but I am quite curious. Because actually, this makes me think of Amber Heard. Oh, my gosh. Remember the alleged information. Okay, if you guys were following Amber Heard in Johnny Depp's case, okay, their whole trial. Remember, there was somebody, a blogger, that unearthed or exposed Amber Heard, that she was a part of these very elaborate parties where she was allegedly like the queen of the party. She would sit in a throne, and this was it was like a freak off. It was almost like a freak off. Lots of people topless, or scantily clad, or if not, walking around in their birthday suits, if you get what I'm saying. Craziness would be going on. One of her friends, Cara Delevingne, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. Delevingne. Her. She was in there as well. There's photos of them all together getting involved. Yeah, Baha, like Biha, like group meetings of the carnal nature. Okay? So then now when I hear about that, okay, and then see what I'm saying? So we hear about the Amber Heard stuff, and then we hear about Diddy's parties. Could they have crossed paths maybe? And allegedly, Elon Musk would go to these parties that AH was going to as well. That's what they were saying. So were they just trying to do their own version of these white parties? Or were they were they all in the same type of boat? Something to think about. Something to think about. Something to think about. Just asking for a friend, I guess. Now, the other thing too, okay, real quick, let me pull this up. And I did a pop-up video about this, but I'm going to share it with you guys regardless. We're going to talk about this. Hold on. Okay. Well, this thing's tripping. Forget about it. Okay. I'm not going to pull that up. But Leonardo DiCaprio did speak out. He did break his silence about this whole thing. Okay. Now, they did talk. He did say, I have nothing to do with any of those things that have happened between, at these parties. He's like, I knew nothing of these parties. I had nothing to do with those kinds of parties. But he also knew Diddy really, 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 really well. Okay? He knew Diddy really well and has known Diddy for a very, very long time. Same thing with Ashton Kutcher. Same thing with all these other dudes that are out here that are, Justin Timberlake's to the Justin Bieber's, Usher, all the young Hollywood guys. I mean, now they're not young Hollywood, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, at the time when they were young Hollywood, they would be invited to these parties. And you're telling me Ashton Kutcher didn't know anything about these things? You're telling me Leonardo DiCaprio didn't know anything about these things? Come on, stop the cap. Quit lying. Quit. Because it's BS. You know for a fact. Some of these guys knew something. Leo's like, no, I didn't know. Okay. And then he's like, well, I didn't party like that anymore. I don't party like that. Maybe he used to back in the day, but he doesn't do that anymore. Okay. But that still doesn't mean that he didn't know about it in the past. But now he's sitting there going, no, I don't roll with him. I don't know him like that. I wasn't any part of that. I think a lot of people knew. I also think that a lot of people heard a rumor, at least. Heard the rumor, and a lot of people saw that to be true. Let's not forget, I played a video with Cat Williams talking about this years ago. So you're telling me Cat Williams knows about it, but nobody else knows? Come on, y'all. Quit lying. Quit lying. He didn't know? I mean, nobody else knew except Cat Williams? So you're telling me Cat Williams was the only person in that room all by himself, just chilling. Just him and himself, all by himself, chilling, watching crazy nothings going on. Come on. Come on. All right. Hold on real quick. Thank you, Miss Ace. Thank you so much for being a member for the past 22 months. Damn. She says 22 months. Wishing you all the best and sending love and awesomeness. God bless. Thank you so much. And God bless you too. Thank you so much for the love. And thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, like I said, that's crazy, guys. That's absolutely crazy. Nonetheless, absolutely crazy. All right. It's wild for them to even say, oh, yeah, they didn't know anything at all. Wait, yeah, what they did? He did what? No, I didn't know anything about that at all. You lie, man. No. I don't know nothing. That's a lie, guys. That's a lie. Hold on one second. That's a freaking lie. Okay, but we got more. Gene Deal on Art of Dialogue. I want to share this with y'all too.
Diddy.
I could be shooting myself in the foot.
Hold on. And you know about Art of Dialogue, okay? Shout out to Art of Dialogue. All right. He's been doing some amazing work, like I said a million times before. If you're wanting to know anything that's been going on revolving around this whole case, I highly, 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 highly recommend you guys going and checking out the Art of Dialogue. Okay, please be sure to subscribe to his channel, show him some love, let him know that I sent you over there because, yeah, he's been making fire content, especially revolving around this whole situation. Okay, so I just wanted to get that out the way, but we haven't heard anything. I haven't played anything with Gene Deal on this channel in a really, really long time. And so I had to bring up some Gene Deal real quick. Shoot, I'm trying to get an interview with the dude like a mug. Okay. So if anybody got that hookup, holla at your boy. Let's continue.
How you feel about Dunn suing Diddy?
I could be shooting myself in the foot. But I said this on my show. So I know, excuse me, I know people gonna jump on this like a fat rat in a cheese factory, but I don't care. We're in the studio one night. Dawn wasn't there. But Puff had his little street team, engineers in there. And he said, and I said this before, he said, they're going to keep messing with me. And I don't know who that they was. It could be their parents. It could be their management team. They're going to keep messing with me. And I'm going to drug all of them up and pimp them out to my nigga. That's what Puff said about Danity Kane.
You heard that, right? You heard that, right? I want to make that abundantly clear. This is what he's saying that was said. Diddy said this about the group Danity Kane, okay? That's insane. See, like, I'm still waiting to hear from Aubrey O'Day. In fact, I want to hear more than just from Aubrey O'Day. What about the other members of Danity Kane? There's a couple other girls in the group too. It's not just Dawn, Richard, and Aubrey O'Day. There's at least 3 other girls from the original group. Where are they at? Why aren't they speaking up? Well, Aubrey has been saying things for a while, making posts and all that stuff. She hasn't gone into detail about what she's gone through or what she's seen. But she's said, she said enough to get the idea out there that, yeah, she's been there, done that, and this man is a monster, right? But at the same time, I'm still kind of curious. What did the other girls endure? Maybe we'll find out someday soon.
Whether he was playing, because they was laughing and joking, and I said out of my mouth in front of him, man, them somebody's daughters. What the fuck is you talking about, Nick?
No
I
doubt.
got daughters. That's exactly what I said and walked out the studio. So my whole thing about that is this. If he did it, or if he wasn't playing, did he say it out his mouth? Yes, he did. Did I hear him say that? Yes, I did. But I ain't in the indictment.
You think he gonna get sued by any other bad boy artists?
It depends on where they at in the music business. It depends on what they trying to do in the music business. Some of them might be still trying to write behind the scenes. Some of them still might be trying to sing, do songs or whatever. It depends on where they at in the music business, man. Because what happens is that's just like I explained that the other day on the Gene Deal show, is that when individuals have a dream to be something, whether it's in sports as an athlete, whether it's a band member in the music business or a singer in the music business or even a comedian. When somebody has the power over you, you may not come out, bruh. You might not say nothing. You might just keep trying and fake it until you make it. And I think that when people see that he was losing his power and his grip, it might be many more people that want to tell the true story behind their relationship with him.
I think he's not wrong with that. I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to, and I agree with him. I think it depends on if what kind of level, right? What kind of level of success these people actually have. I think that there's a lot of people, if they have a lot to lose, they may not speak out. But if they have nothing to lose, they're going to start talking. But if they have built their career in a specific type of way through Diddy or through whatever, they're not going to speak out. Let's be real. They're not going to talk. Those individuals aren't going to step forward and talk about anything because they've gotten to that level of success. And they don't want people thinking that they just kind of put their butt out there, okay? Put themselves out there in that type of way, sacrifice their own soul in a way to be successful, right? So I don't think that a lot of people are going to be out here talking. But I think the ones that are really having nothing to lose, like they had a shot and they lost a shot, or maybe they've had a song or two, but then, they kind of fell off. I feel like those individuals are really going to be speaking out more. Like we just heard a guy yesterday from last night he was part of that whole Making the Band reality show. He's not out here making crazy money doing music with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Nah. You see what I'm saying? So he has nothing to lose. So of course he's going to step forward and go, yeah, man, I saw a lot of this stuff. This whole thing went down, right? But a lot of people that have a lot to lose, Kimia, okay, or Camia on TikTok, like John Legend, his wifey, any other person that's been involved with anything, they're not going to come out and just say, yeah, I've been there, I saw all that. There may be one or two that are strong enough or brave enough to basically step forward and say, I don't care. I need to speak my truth. I can't stand with this anymore. There may be one or two, but it's going to be rare. You're telling me Faith Evans is going to step forward and say this happened, or Mary J. Blige is going to step forward and say and confirm these certain things, that there was treatments and there were certain types of there were certain types of ritualistic things that you had to do. Nah, they're not going to talk about that stuff. Hell no. None of those people are going to talk. Jay-Z, the Beyoncés, any of those people that may be connected in some sort of way, they're not going to talk. That's all their career on the line. They don't want people side-eyeing them while they're, trying to promote the next new album they got coming out. Hell no. But the people who have got nothing to lose, who don't have any albums out, and just still maybe on the struggle bus, still trying to get their names back out there, yeah, they're going to talk. But the problem is that that's the issue right there. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to step forward for sure, like they already have, right? We got a couple dudes that have stepped forward. We got a bunch of women that have stepped forward. And now we got to make sure we got to sift through all of them to find out who's actually telling the truth and who's full of ish. If they're just there, just trying to get their money, because Diddy screwed them over financially. Like I said, this is going to be a very tough one. Okay. And it's easy for us to sit there and go, oh yeah, we should be believing all women and believing all them. Well, we don't know for sure. There's so many people out here, and we live in an unfortunate world where people are more turned, more motivated by money than they are actually motivated by truth. So you're going to see a lot of people stepping forward because they're like, damn, Cassie got 30 mil. Oh shoot. Then I can at least scrape off 5 or 10 from him. So let me see what's good. He still owes me. He never paid me for all my producing and all that stuff. He took all the rights. So let me get some of this money real quick. I'm just saying. So that is the situation. And that's the problem that I think a lot of these artists are going to be seeing here. The ones that step forward. Because people are going to have to sift through and find out who's actually telling the truth and who's fibbing.
Did you know that the Locks, bruh, did? I think we always love you, Big Papa. The Locks did that for nothing. They didn't get nothing out of that. All the proceeds were supposed to go to Big's mama. It's a dude that goes around and he investigates publishing on artists and for artists. I knew this years ago. Did you know he finagled the situation where Miss Wallace only got 75% and he got 25% and the Locks got nothing? But they end up working it out once the Locks and them people investigated that. Now, I ain't never spoke to the Locks about that. I spoke to the dude that investigated the thing and found it. And this was years ago. So the Locks ain't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. This the kind of, man, listen here. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. But I want to talk about this lawsuit by Dunn, right? And I want to get your opinion on it. It's a part in this lawsuit where she alleges that she was at a dinner with Neo, Usher, and Jimmy Iovine and Diddy.
Hold on real quick. He's talking about Dawn Richard. Just so you know, the person that was one of the people that was part of Danity Kane, and of course, the other half of Dirty Money. Just so you guys know, okay? Because, Dawn, all right?
He punched Cassie in the stomach and no one did anything. How you feel about that?
They were part of the dinner and they watched Cassie get abused in front of Puffy abused Cassie in front of them. And neither one of those men, and they probably security was around too, did nothing to stop what he had did to Cassie. Now that's just crazy right there, bro.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. Usher probably got a daughter. Neo probably got kids. I don't know. Jimmy Iovine, he take about 15, 20 scoops of sugar in his coffee. So.
Oh, damn. But again, well, first off, Neo got kids. Okay. Neo out here. All right. But at the same time, dude, The fact that they didn't do anything, that they just sat there and watched as he did this to Cassie, put his paws on her. You got Usher, you got Neo, you got people at this dinner looking at him, putting his paws on his own girl like that is absolutely crazy. And the fact that nobody said anything or did anything, at least even said something verbally in protest, is crazy. This is a guy who felt like he could do whatever the hell he wanted. And it's really funny because now we're hearing more and more than ever, right? Now we're seeing more and more than ever people not able to, like, scared to speak out, right? We're seeing more and more than ever all these people that have seen things and now are now speaking out. And it's like, oh, okay. You didn't believe us before. You know, it was all a crazy, far-fetched idea. Now it's the truth. Now it's like, yeah, now all the Band-Aid has been ripped off, which is crazy, right? It's absolutely crazy. Hold on real quick. S-Dubs, thank you so much for being a member. Appreciate it. And being a wonderful mod as well. Tipsy and I cannot buy memberships. Is it on your side? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I do not think so. Angie, thank you so much for refreshing your membership. And just like Angie, guys, please hit that join button down below. Become a member. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. It helps grow the channel, okay? Subscribe to this main channel. Go to my secondary channel. Subscribe over there as well, okay, guys? All right, let's get into this. Oop, let me take this down. Yeah, but I don't know what's going on. You should be able to maybe hit the refresh button. I don't know. But that's interesting. Let's hear the last part of this. But isn't it interesting that now he's been arrested? All of these things we're looking at and we're like, oh, this was true. Isn't that crazy? Because a lot of people were naysayers out here going like, nah, he didn't do that. He wouldn't do that. And it's not, we're not surprised now.
All those cats there, supposed to be men, watched that lady get abused right there in public, and they did nothing, brother.
It's crazy.
They did nothing. That goes to show you the power that he had mentally over them. Here go a woman witnesses, and this witnessing it and said, they said nothing. Yo, man, stop. Don't do that. Yo, not here, bro. Easy. Nothing. Don't do nothing. Say something. She said they didn't do anything and they didn't say nothing. That's the bad thing about it. If you're not going to do nothing, open your damn mouth and say something. And that's a lot wrong with our people right now. They don't even want you to say nothing.
And that's the truth. I mean, obviously, you know, this, I can piggyback off of this. And it's like, if you see something, say something. Sure, maybe you're not going to run after that person and jump on top of him and get into fisticuffs with that person. I feel you. Okay. But at the same time, like I get it. You know, sometimes it's not that easy. But at the same time, at least speak up. At least say something. At least take that person, get that person away from that monster, right? I get it. Everybody's like, oh, I don't want to get in the middle of it. But sometimes you do got to get in the middle of it. I'm sorry. Sometimes you just got to, especially when it comes to something like that. When you see something like that, you got to say something. You got to make sure that person's far away from that person. Okay. And if they decide to go back to that person afterwards, that's on them. But at the same time, you at least try to step forward and say something. And you had two men, at least. And I'm not trying to be sexist or anything like that, but I'm just saying you had two men that were in the room and saw him do this and did nothing. That's crazy, guys. That's crazy. It doesn't matter if they were men or women. But at the same time, you'd think that they would stand up and go, whoa, Diddy, what the hell you doing, man? Cassie, come here, man. No, we out here. We out of here. Bye. We'll see you tomorrow, Diddy, man. Damn, what the hell's wrong with you, man? They could have done that, but they didn't. They just sat there and just let it happen. And that's terrifying because you realize that those guys were terrified of him because of the kind of power this guy has. And no man should have that kind of power. Didn't Kanye? Oh, the old Kanye. I miss him. But the old Kanye, didn't he say no one man should have all that power? He's not wrong. Especially when he's using the power especially when he's doing the power, using the power for wrong, right? And he's still out here, man. That's crazy, man. I mean, he's locked up now, but I mean, that's crazy to me. That someone saw that, said nothing. Let's move on though. So Dame Dash, okay, spoke out earlier today, okay? And I want to share that with you guys too. Now, he spoke for about almost a damn near hour. I'm not playing this whole doggone thing, okay? But I do recommend you guys going to America New Network, okay? Because he did talk about a few things, and I think it's an interesting interview. So I'm only going to be playing a few clips of this interview here, okay? But he was like, let's talk about Diddy. So he had some things to talk about. So we're going to take a look at a little bit of this. We're not watching the whole doggone thing. Like I said, it's 55 minutes long, okay? So we're going to watch a bit of it, okay? And I might speed up the speed a little bit so we can get through a decent chunk of it. But let's take a look at this, okay? Again, guys, don't forget, hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. We're keeping an eye on this whole Diddy thing. We got some things coming tomorrow for you guys, some deep dives into some elements of the Diddy situation, things that are revolving around Diddy and all that. We are doing some serious work on here. And of course, still keeping an eye on other cases and all the other stuff that's going on out here in these streets. Trust and believe, we ain't done yet talking about these other things. It's not like suddenly this channel is just Diddy centric. Hell no. We talking about everything on this channel. But there's a lot to dive in when it comes to Diddy. Okay. So we are going to be looking into that and then other things as well. Okay. So be on the lookout for it because a lot of things are coming on this main channel starting tomorrow. Let's take a look at this.
The news that's hit recently with Puff.
Man. I can't even hold you pause. It really kind of affected me. Like, number one, that's all, in the algorithm. That's all you're going to hear is every single day, all day long. This is all people are going to talk about. But,
Yep.
in hip hop, there's like a brotherhood. And a lot of us have known each other for 30 years since we were like basically children. And he's one of those dudes, regardless to whether I agreed with who he was or what he did and how he did things, in hip hop, we were still brothers. Like, I still consider his sons my nephews. Regardless to what he do, his sons will always be good with me. If hopefully everything's cool with that as well. Or children in general. And that's how I feel about everyone from my kind of generation that graduated from that era of hip hop. So it was like, damn. I knew how much this was, number one, going to affect the face of hip hop because he's been a pillar for the last 30 years. There was no hip hop without certain people being mentioned. And, I'm proud to say that I'm one of those people, but he's definitely one of those people. And even though I've always somewhat has always been a competitive nature between him and I've always admired the fact that he'll do anything. Like when he ran the marathon, I was like, I wouldn't have did that. Like he.
First off, let me just say this really quick. I remember watching him training for the marathon back in the day. And I don't know about you, but I was looking at that and I'm going to be real. I was so inspired back then. Okay. Seeing him do that. I was like, dang, man, he's a mogul. He's this, and this. I really looked up to him at that time. I think everybody did to a certain extent, right? Because at the same time, he was becoming that household name. he became very mainstream. Like I said, he wasn't just somebody who was popular with the black community. He was also popular with the white community too. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm running the New York Marathon. It's like, wow, that's amazing. That's freaking amazing and surprising, right? But seeing him do that, I was like, yeah, I mean, a lot of us, everybody who watched that, it was an MTV like docu-series of him training to run a marathon. And he's like, I just want to prove everyone that that you can do anything. You can just, keep your mind to it, stay positive, and challenge yourself. You can do anything, right? And of course, all of us are like, damn, that's awesome, man. I want to do the same thing. Damn, Diddy, that's amazing, right? Only to find out that he's him trash. So crazy. It's heartbreaking, man. It's really heartbreaking. And even so, I will say this too. If Jay-Z has anything really to do with any of this stuff, I will be so crushed because he's one of my favorite rappers. I know everybody, everybody has their favorite rapper, okay? But he's one of my favorites, all right? And so I will always, there's a special place in my heart for his music. And to find out if he has anything to do with anything, I'll be crushed. Same thing with Diddy. When I found out, about all this stuff, I was absolutely crushed. And then I got angry, right? Because it's like, wow, in your face, you just see, money, the women, all that stuff. And then only to find out that he's hiding in plain sight, And I believe that a lot of us have some sort of hero, right? Or some sort of artist that we love that may be a part of this ish that's going to make you so mad. It's going to make you so heated, right? So I'm not looking forward to that moment, but I know a lot of it's coming, right? Man.
Definitely is turned up, pause. Like, he has a lot of energy. And I admired the fact that he was able to stay relevant over and over again. I couldn't understand it. I'd be like, how did he get that deal? He always gets those deals, I was definitely transparent. I was definitely sort of pissed off because I felt like I started that thing with the vodka and the liquor and the arming deal. I remember having a conversation with him at the MTV Awards and him asking me, like, how'd you do that, blah, blah, blah. And he went and did it a different way and made a lot of money from it. But I was like, in my brain, I was like, he's always copying. You know what I mean? Like, and it's, sometimes I'd wonder, like, how does he get that deal? Like, I have a great idea, but he could always get the deal to connect him to pop culture where he could get that volume and be so embraced, But I'd be like, but I'm gonna still do it my way. And I don't care, like, we've had conversations like, yo, bruh, it's kind of similar ideas, but yeah, but I do them better than you. Hey, maybe you do. But you don't celebrate that kind of thing no matter what, And I started to think, because like every day something new comes out. So I'm wondering in his brain, like, in this very moment, would he give up everything, all the money, all the history he's made with music, all of it, just to be regular and be free? Would he erase everything? Like, was it worth it? The 30 years of rolling, if he knew 30 years ago that he had 30 years to just do whatever he wanted, and be well respected and celebrated and do all these impactful things that have affected hip hop and the trajectory of hip hop. And now I'm seeing that, he had a lot more power than I knew. So he was affecting everything. And would he be like, yo, I'll give it all up just so I could just be with my kids every day? And when I saw him at the park with his kids, I was like, yo, that's what I do every day. That's what I walked away from, because the ultimate wealth, I just always wanted a family, And my mom died when I was young. I lost my girl at the time, fairly young. You know, I haven't been in a functional relationship with any of my children's mothers. It's been war before they were born. And all I wanted was just a peaceful life, be able to just pick my son up from school or my child, my daughter, you know, go to all their activities, you know, take them to school, just grow with them.
And it's interesting that you hear about a guy who is extremely successful, Dame Dash, right? Dame Dash, everybody. But you see how he's successful, right? You see the success. And you're hearing right now how he's like, man, you know, I would just kill to just be able to have X, Y, and Z. I'd give anything if I could just have some time with family. If I could just do this, this, and this. Yeah, Melissa, this is a very successful man. Very successful individual. But he's sitting there going, man, I ain't got nothing. Ain't that wild? This makes me think of Rosebud. Orson Welles movie. I forgot the name of the movie right now. But the Orson Welles movie, right? Where he says Rosebud, Rosebud. And you're like, what is he talking about? The man with everything. And all he wants is the simplest little thing. And you got this guy right here as well, Dame Dash, being like, man, I just want the simple things. What do you give a man with all the money and all the success in the world? Citizen Kane, thank you so much, Biha. Thank you so much. But yes, what do you give a man with everything? Isn't that wild? The man who has everything has nothing at the same time. Wild. Wild.
You know, and be with a woman that I love and be peaceful and grow together. All those things was my dream. And the crazy thing is the only way I was able to get to that dream was to detach from all of that stuff. I would never have gotten the ultimate dream had I stayed around.
Wow.
You know, so I just, you know, I know the kind of guy that he is, and he's used to being a free-spirited individual. And then I start to reflect, like, yo, how did you avoid all that? How did you just know to stay away? You know? And it's just because, like, regardless of whether what he was doing was illegal or not, that will be judged in a court of law. But what we do know was he was doing some loose shit. Like, there were actual freak-off parties, and there were environments and things that were going on that I personally would never, ever, ever do. Be around. And I think people know me, and hearing about these things actually happening, people would be like, now I understand why Dame really didn't get along with certain people.
Interesting. So he's even sitting here saying, like, outside of, you know, like, okay, he was a free-spirited individual and all that. And Little Nuck, I agree on TikTok, okay? People who were afraid to speak out back then should speak up now. I agree 110% with that. And hopefully we're going to find out more stuff here soon. But it's interesting how he's sitting there going like, yeah, you know, he was a real free-spirited individual, so on and so forth, which means something else in my personal opinion. Okay, which means he knew that this guy was more than just a free-spirited individual. Okay, he was free, and he was down for anything, right? He was down for both sides of the fence. Which, hey, do you, boo boo? As long as it's consensual, enjoy your life. Okay, as long as it's consensual, dag nabbit. Okay, but he also said, yeah, I knew about these f-offs. I knew about these things, but I had nothing to do with those things. I wanted nothing to do with those things. But you also got to remember too, guys, everybody who knows about these things doesn't mean that they were part of those things. Let's be real about that too. Some people are going to know about these parties and they're going to sit there and go, that's not my stilo. Just because you're a rich, powerful person does not mean that you're into that kind of activity, late night activity. That doesn't mean that. It doesn't. But at the same time, though, he could be saying it. You know, we got to err on the other side, too. He could be saying this just to save face as well. That's a possibility as well. But very interesting that he said that, right? Very interesting that he's like, that's not how I roll. This is one of the reasons why I don't get along with certain people, because I don't like that kind of thing. I don't roll like that. And it's funny because if you notice in this conversation, he says pause a lot, like a lot. And we're not playing the whole doggone thing, but you're going to hear he says pause like every other freaking word. It's insane. If you get what I'm saying, it's like, oh yeah, now go ahead and sip that water. Pause. Like he's trying to say like, oh, I don't mean that in some sort of homosexual way, right? That's what he means by pause, right? For those of y'all who are late to the party. But I think it's really funny that he would sit there and say, keep saying pause the entire time. It's insane, but you're going to hear it in a second, okay? But he's claiming, he knew about these parties, but he didn't have anything to do with them.
And then I'm thinking, yo, this shit was really going on? Like, because it seems like there's like the general party, and then there's the VIP party where all the elite, so the elite people have to be knowing about what's going on, and they're still there, whether they're participating or not. That's a secret. And that kind of secret, because, I heard things, but not that crazy. Not the things that have been admitted to doing, like, not pause baby oil crazy. Like, I didn't know, like, it's just something that was unfathomable to me. The fact that didn't get out, that means that's a very secret club. Whoever's holding that secret, they hold it tight to the vest. And I'm like, what other secrets? Like, what deals were made in those free calls? Because a lot of the deals that happen in social environments. That's why people go to the club and they hang out all day. Bankers hang out with bankers all day to get deals done. Like, I would go to Tripiani's and we'd make, $1 billion deals over a bottle of vodka. And it was all based on, that hanging out and that trust, and you would throw your man an alley-oop because y'all hung out. If you get into that secret club and you're able to hold a secret so tight to the vest, a lot of business deals are getting made there. So now I'm like, damn, I might understand why certain people had certain opportunities, certain deals, and if they weren't participating, they were there and they didn't leave and they repetitively came back. So I don't think people knew, or maybe they were, or they did know, but I'll give people the benefit of doubt. Like, I don't think they thought it was illegal, but it was loose. And as far as moral compass, morally, that would not be the environment that I would want my kids around. I would want to be around. I wouldn't want to do no business in that environment. Could you imagine me going to one of those parties and walking in that room with what I'd be like, y'all know, where's the pause button? I'd be like, pause. I'd be like, you're in here, y'all bugging. What? I didn't know. That type shit. They know that I'm not tolerant, or, I don't look the other way. I'd be getting out the way. But I might not be so silent. I might not be able to keep that secret of what I saw. So I'm like wondering, like, damn. And I'm wondering if people understand what the buckshot of another person's karma is. With a shotgun, you shoot it in pellets spray. So you might hit your target, but the pellets are going to hit whoever's around. So you might not meant to be getting shot, but you're going to catch a couple of a spray of those bullets. That's what karma's like. So if you are around somebody that may be doing something immoral, and you might look the other way or might help facilitate it, karmically, you may be considered accountable.
Everybody at the top is getting these bigger deals, right? Everyone's glorifying that, like, by you not being in those, I guess, positions of these.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it there. All right, because that's a good 10 minutes of that video, and he's not wrong. There's going to be a lot of people that are just going to be guilty by association. Aren't we already seeing that right now with all the information, all these photos that are coming out of people at these white parties and all that stuff? You saw Sarah Sarah Jessica Parker, with Matthew Broderick, with Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, you got all Billy Zane. You got all these names and faces that are there, and a lot of them are going to just be guilty by association, unfortunately, even if they didn't show up or be a part of those F-offs after, you know, at these after parties. You see what I'm saying? So again, you know, it's very he's not wrong. What Dame Dash is saying right here, he's not wrong at all with this. He's not, because of course people are going to get hit by the wave of judgment and all that, especially those that worked very closely to Diddy over the years, over the recent years, etc. They're all going to get hit with some sort of wave of judgment, you know, those side eyes, etc. Because there's a possibility that they have something to do with the whole thing themselves as well. But of course, we'll never really know that until we actually hear more people speak out, unfortunately. But again, people can get really messy out there and throw a lot of people under the bus without actually even trying to throw them under the bus. Does that make sense? So we'll see what happens here. But there is something else. I saw you guys say this in the chat. I want to pull this up because I am kind of curious if this is true. But this is interesting because we were just talking about food and eating. But apparently they're saying that Diddy's may not be eating while he's in prison, while he's in jail. I'm sorry. So I am curious if this is true. Okay. Oh, and by the way, have y'all seen the Menendez TV show on Netflix yet? Has any of y'all seen it yet? I'm curious about that. Because I've only seen I think I'm halfway through it. It's been a little difficult to watch at night because I've been, you know, doing early morning shows and then these night shows. So I haven't had a second to watch them. But I'm wondering, have you guys watched those yet? And is it any good or no? Right? Yeah, it's intense. It's pretty intense and it's crazy. The stuff in there, I'm like, what? There's some crazy stuff in there. Making them look like lovers. It's crazy. In my personal opinion, that's the vibe I'm getting right now, but I'm not fully through it yet. But I'm getting this vibe like they're actual, like they're lovers. You know? Okay. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but that's the vibe I'm getting. Okay. Just the impression that I'm getting.
And the update comes via our friend Larry Levine, who has a source close to the investigation. Larry is a former federal prisoner himself who served time at 11 institutions across 5 states and is founder and director of Wall Street Prison Consultants. He advises people who are about to face the same plight, and he joins me now live. Okay, Larry, spill the tea. What are you hearing about Diddy's eating?
Well, I got an inside source there at MDC, and if they knew who it was, they'd really plot. You know, when people go into custody, they have anxiety, they're depressed, a lot of things go through their mind. And one of the things they do is they stop eating. They lose a lot of weight. Look at somebody coming out of prison. They look like a POW or something, but they've been through the ringer. Now, there's a collateral issue that may be here. Look what happened to Jeff Epstein. I got people every day saying, you think they're going to Epstein him? And I go, well, I really don't know. But they can't have this guy do a suicide. It would look kind of funny. Now, imagine if somebody got to one of the correctional officers, and this could happen. They don't make a lot of money. And there's people out there that he has things on that do have a substantial amount of money. Imagine if someone paid someone off on the inside to actually poison his food, give him a heart attack, and he dies. And no one would really think anything of it. So that may be one of the reasons he's not eating. He's really, really paranoid. He's really, really scared. He doesn't know what to think. He doesn't know who to trust or what to believe. Then he had a religious visit also, and a dietitian come talk to him. Now, there's a possibility that he wants to go on a kosher diet. It's prepared a little bit differently. It's like it's a religious diet. That could be another aspect as well. But I remember when I first went into custody at MDC Los Angeles, and I didn't eat for a couple days, but this guy's been there about a week now. So he should be in a routine. And there's just so much, Ashley, there is so much disinformation that comes out. Like he has to get up at 6 o'clock to make his bed and mop his cell. That's for a regular housing unit at MDC. He's not getting out of the shoe. He doesn't have to make his bed, really. He's probably laying in bed all day long, just stewing and thinking. So the situation and the conditions for him are completely different than it would be for a regular inmate. So
talk to me, Larry, about talk to me about the potential that this could be a protest, because Ghislaine Maxwell famously said some pretty strident things about the MDC Brooklyn lockup and the food and how terrible it was, and that she had been losing a ton of weight. Is it possible this is a protest?
Well, at several BOP institutions, Federal Bureau of Prisons institutions across the country, there's food strikes going on where people are refusing to eat because of the quality of the food and the way they're being treated. And that could have carried over to MDC. But on the other hand, he's sitting in the shoe. How did he hear about it? Unless he bought the little overpriced Sony Walkman radio. I bet they let him have that. Or maybe he talked to somebody on the phone on a limited call that told him, yeah, they're having a hunger strike, and he's joining in that. Remember, the food is bland. The food is a lot of carbohydrates. It's kind of it fills you up, but you get sick eating it. I mean, there's mold in a lot of that food. The food coming to him is cold. It's not coming to him warm like it would be in a regular housing unit, because they feed the people in the shoe last. Maybe he got sick from the food. That's another possibility. I mean, they may actually be moving him. Maybe he's concerned and his lawyer's concerned, as I said,
do you know, Larry, if he's
somebody
still on
killing him.
suicide watch? Is he still on suicide watch?
He's still on suicide watch. The shrink is coming to see him several times a day. And at MDC, they hand out psych meds like they're handing out M&Ms. So I don't know if he's taking them, but they're certainly available to him. I took them in MDC one time because I was having problems sleeping. And after I took it one time, you play a lot of chess in there, you do a lot of reading. I wasn't able to engage anybody. I couldn't think. I turned into a zombie. And after taking it one time, I stopped taking them.
Thanks for.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I mean, the fact that they would just ply you with some sort of medication like that is pretty crazy, right? But then also on top of it, it's like, okay, so he's not eating because he's in his fifis. Like I said, it's to me, it's like meh. But there is also that other concern. Is he concerned that people might slip something in his food to make him croak? I don't know. It's a possibility, right? It's definitely a possibility, but kind of wild though, right? Kind of wild if you think about it. I don't see him being somebody who's going to go and do something unthinkable to himself. I think he's going to try to do his best to see this through. That's what I see. But I can also see him being very concerned about getting attacked in any type of way. You got to remember, this is a guy with a lot of information, and he could literally take a lot of people down if he's asked the right questions. And also, let's not forget this too. Like a lot of y'all are saying this too. He's going through some serious withdrawals right now, for sure. He's going through some serious withdrawals. So he may not be hungry because of those withdrawals. Let's not forget that too. So we'll see what happens though. But the fact that he's not eating is like, he'll eventually eat. Let's be real. He'll eventually eat. Like, come on. He's eventually going to eat. At some point, he's going to have to eat whatever they make him. He's going to have to cave in and eat the food. He could be absolutely depressed. His loss of appetite could be because of depression, because of the shock, because of withdrawal. It could be a trifecta of all these things, the nerves, the anxiety of constantly looking over your shoulder because you're thinking that somebody's going to try to take you out because you hold a lot of information that could get a lot of very powerful people in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I'm sure he's not eating. He's probably terrified. Okay? On top of everything else, right? So we'll see what happens. Okay? We'll see what happens. But I don't think it's going to be an epi situation. I don't think he will epi. You see what I'm saying? I just don't see it. I just don't. Not the Diddy that we know. Okay? I just don't see it. I think it would have to be by the hands of somebody else. That's what I think. Power of a Woman, thank you so much for the love. The girl he's talking about that perished young is Aaliyah. Dame Dash was after her. Oh, yeah, G'ing her. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Aaliyah, that's a whole conversation in itself as well, right? Because, yeah, Aaliyah. And that's another conversation in itself for sure. But guys, that is the show. It's getting kind of late, and I'm going to be back up in the morning to give you guys more information and more talks about all the stuff that we've been talking about as of late. Okay. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. There's so much going on. There's so much information that just keeps piling out, and I'm going to try to knock out as much as I can, bit by bit, as we continue going down this route. I have a special, hopefully going to be coming out starting tomorrow. We're going to get some specials going on this main channel. They're not going to be lives. They're going to be specials, okay? But I will be live tomorrow at some point for sure. But I definitely want to give you guys some stuff for revolving around this whole case so we can kind of catch up, because there's a lot to break down. Okay? So please do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit that follow button if you're watching on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Follow me, please. Okay? Of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips, where you can get smaller, more condensed videos over there. Please show some love. Subscribe over there, please, and thank you. All right. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out the membership and support if you can. Check out Patreon. Patreon.com/The Pascal Show. Show some love over there too. Check it out. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got a lot to talk about, and we got a lot of really, really great merch over there on our merch store. PascalMerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.